Hello and welcome to toy-polloi 2, and today we have an unboxing video. As you can see here, I've got quite a few boxes. They've been piling up over the last week because it's just been too hot to film, but this morning the weather's not too bad, so I thought I'd crack on and get some of these open. Now here we have a few different things. We've got a trade that I did with someone, we've got some donations, and we have an archaeological find, which is a really interesting one. So it's a right mixture of stuff. I'm also waiting on one extra box to arrive, which is something that I've bought off eBay, so if that does arrive there may be a little bit of a bonus unboxing at the very end of this video. But let's get on and open up these boxes and see what's inside. Right, here is the first box, and this is a trade that I've done with Paul, who's been a friend of the channel for right from the start. I would say he certainly helped me out with a very early projects I worked on toy-polloi. So yeah, we organised a trade over the internet. I've sent him a few bits and bobs, and in this box is the stuff that he's agreed to send me back in return. So let's open this up and we'll see what it is. I can't remember everything that we discussed. I know he said he'd throw in a few extra bits as well, so let's just take a look and see what it is. But there's some pieces that I needed for projects, which is always why I like trading with people, because you just easiest way to get extra pieces for things that I'm working on. So here we have, this is a G.I.joe figure. This is tripwire, if I'm not mistaken. It's one that I don't have, and Paul had this spare, so that's a really good one to add to my collection. So a new figure for my G.I.joe collection there. Then we have, oh right, this was an extra that he threw in because he said he didn't want it. This is Arzon from Visionaries. I've fixed this channel before on toy-polloi because it had a few issues. The one I had, the clip on the top was missing, and I think his pelvis was broken. So it's actually not too bad condition one. Probably better than the one I have, even though I've sort of fixed it up. So I may end up taking a few parts off that. So that's really cool. And in here are some of the bits I definitely traded for, because I put a post out. I'm doing some work on some various projects, and he said he had a few bits for those that I could have. So here we have, right, these were the main bits I was talking about. These are pieces for Masters of the Universe Trapjaw. The figure, I don't seem to have many of the weapons for him. I don't think I've got any weapons. Maybe I've got his claw or something, or one of them. I know I don't have many of them. So anyway, Paul had a couple of those, so that's very useful. He also said he had a spare arm. Now I don't have a trapjaw that needs a spare arm, but I do have another figure, and I'll show you that in a minute because I think it might be quite a fun custom. And then there are a few other pieces here. We have I think that's Grimlock's gun from Transformers. There's a missile for the Snowcat. That's actually a steering wheel for the Snowcat. My Snowcat still has the steering wheel that I made using a Lego piece, so that's an original Snowcat steering wheel. So I may swap that on, I may not, I don't know, because I quite like the steering wheel that I made. And then finally, this is something that I definitely need, and it's one part to a very long-winded project that I'm working on, which is fixing up the Robo Skull from Action Force, the Red Shadows Robo Skull. Now I was very kindly donated the remains of a Robo Skull, and I'm slowly getting parts for it. In fact, this is the second part I have added to that project. It's a very slow project. Parts for this are incredibly hard to find and normally incredibly expensive. So this is the clip for the trapdoor. So that is a piece I really do need. So very kind, Paul. Thanks for doing this trade with me. These are all useful pieces. Let me quickly show you my plans for this arm though. And this is what it is. I have so many sort of busted Skeletors with bits missing, and I was rummaging through my box the other day and I found the little sort of chest shield piece for Trapjaw, and I was thinking, well, what can I do with that? Well, but of course what I can do is I can make a custom Skeletor with a Trapjaw arm. So we can just clip that on, and there we go. We have a custom Skeletor with a Trapjaw arm. Let's stick one of these weapons in. Look at that. That's a pretty cool figure. I like that. So that is going in my Skeletor army as is. We have a custom Skeletor part robotic version. I really like that. Next up we have this package from Alex, who got in touch with me fairly recently saying that he'd been watching my channel and seen me do a restoration on a figure, and it just so happened that he was down working in Bognor Regis. He's an ecologist, so he'd been working out in the field somewhere and found the exact figure that I'd been working on, except it had been buried in the field for many years. The figure's about 40 years old and had been ploughed over many times, and he wondered if I'd like it. And I said yes, because it was such an intriguing story, and I just looked at the figure. I don't think I'm going to restore it. I want to keep it as is, because it's obviously had such a life, and the story that it's had is so weird. How on earth did it end up in this field, and how on earth did it end up looking like it did? So that's what he has sent me here. So let's open this package and we'll take a look and see what it is. And here you go. It's Astro Smurf. Now, if you've watched my channel recently, you'll have seen that I've replaced the helmet on one of these because it was a figure I'd had as a child, and the one I had as a child was missing the helmet. So I bought myself another one. In fact, here he is, and made a new helmet for him. But this Astro Smurf has been stuck in a field down near Bognor Regis for how many years? We don't know. He's missing his fingers. There's a big cut mark on the back of his head. He's got damage to his foot there, missing most of his paint. But what an amazing story. He's just been there for that long, and yeah, Alex just happened to find him in a field, and now he's very kindly sent him along to me. So he's written a little note here. Let's have a quick read of that. It says, "Hi Dave, I'm so glad this figure has found a good home, and thanks again for the hours of instruction and entertainment your channel provides. Cheers, Alex." Well, thanks, Alex. Thanks for thinking of me and sending this over, because it is fantastic. It really is just such a weird story. I love things like this. How did this end up there, and what's it been doing all those years? Obviously been ploughed over a few times, and yeah, very strange little thing, but it's great. So thanks ever so much for sending that in. I'm going to display that with my Astro Smurf, and I'll be sending you some toy-polloi goodies in the post in return. So thanks for sending this over. Next up, we have a box from Dan, who has been a friend of the channel for a long time and has sent me many things over the years. Now, I have no idea what is in this box. It's just turned up as a surprise. So I think all we've got to do is open it up and we'll see what he sent in. Okay, so there is a note and a drinks mat, which is very Star Wars related. So what is that? It says, "Hi Dave, find enclosed a couple of daft things from Galaxy's Edge." All right, so he's been to Galaxy's Edge in the US. So this must be drinks mats from one of the bars. That's really cool. I wonder what it says. I know you can actually read this stuff. I'll have to put it into a translator, but that's pretty cool. And then we have something wrapped in paper. All right, so this is a drinks canister that you get there. So this is a bottle of Coke, but made to look quite Star Warsy. It's got a Star Wars lid on it. And I suppose it's supposed to look like some sort of thermal detonator or something like that. That's actually really cool, isn't it? It's got, I like the way they've done the Coke logo in the Star Wars writing. So I've got a drinks canister and a mat to put it on. Thanks, Dan. That's really cool stuff. I'll have to find somewhere to put that on display. Pretend that I've been to Galaxy's Edge myself. Next up, we have these two boxes from Dave in Canada. Now, Dave got in touch with me and said that he'd recently been doing some projects and had bits left over that he no longer needed, and thought they would be ideal for me to use on my main channel, toy-polloi, fixing up toys. So he has sent those over. He did give me an idea of what's inside, and they will be incredibly useful. So it's very kind of him to send these over. I've already sent him some toy-polloi bits back as a thank you, but let's open these up and you'll see exactly what it is he has sent. So we'll do this box first and see what's inside it. It's a very heavy box, like really heavy, but I know exactly why that is. So we'll open it up and you can see here it is full of paints. Dave was working fixing up some toys and figures himself, and so had bought a whole load of paints and then said that yeah, he was unlikely to use them again. So we've got all sorts of brushes, and then yeah, a whole selection of paints and bits and bobs. So let me sort of empty these out and we'll take a quick look at what sort of things there are there. Blimey, there's an awful lot of paint packed inside that box, but it's all incredibly useful. You'll see me use acrylic paints all the time when fixing up toys. It's my favourite way of sort of repainting them. And I have a sort of fairly good collection of colours, but this will sort of expand my selection like 2-3 times over. There's a real good mix here, and lots of colours that I've never used and never seen. So things that I will certainly be using in future. There's things that I use all the time. I've got these satin and gloss finish varnishes there. But then there's other metallic colours that I've never seen or never used before, so those will be nice. And it's just a good selection. These are all game colour, and I've got a couple of game colour ones. They're quite a good paint. Particularly, I think, designed for doing sort of lead figures and stuff like that. But yeah, these will come in really handy. So there's a whole selection of those, which is amazing. There's also some acrylic paint markers. I've not used those before, so I'll have fun giving those a go. They look quite interesting. So it's essentially marker versions of these paints, but yeah, so you just draw them on rather than having to mix up the paint. So that would be fun to use. So that's the first box of stuff from Dave. There is a second, so I'll move this out of the way, then let's open up this one. And here is the second box from Dave. This one has been really well wrapped in tape, so let's get into this one and see what's inside. So the note says, "Hey Dave, long time fan. I hope these paints are of some use to you. Cheers, Dave from Canada." They are indeed, as I said. Paints like that will really come in useful because I do so many things fixing toys. I always need paints, and I'm always down the local model shop buying various colours, so those will come in really handy. And there's a couple of extra bits here. So we have a Pac-Man Game that needs a battery cover and some corrosion sorting, and a robot also needs battery cover, and his left shoulder is loose. He's missing antenna on top of his head too, but I think he looks fine. All right, let's take a look and see what these are. So this is a Pac-Man Game. So, oh, it is indeed. It's a sort of little mini Pac-Man game. I guess you plug this into a TV and you can play the old Pac-Man. That's pretty cool, actually. Oh, I see, yeah, it is missing a battery cover. I've made mini battery covers recently and they all are fairly straightforward. That looks like something I could easily do. So yeah, little Pac-Man game there. And then he says a robot. So let's see what this is. Missing some bits. Ah, that's cool. It's a robot clock. Do you know, I have something fairly similar to this downstairs on my work desk. That's quite sweet, actually. It is just a little robot clock. Oh, well, thanks, Dave. Thanks for sending those over. Those are really cool. So there we go. That is it for today's unboxing. As you can see, quite a lot of stuff, quite a variety of bits. Massive thank you to Dave for all the paints. Those are really useful. Thanks to Dan for the bits from Galaxy's Edge, and thanks to Paul for the trade that he did with me. And a massive thank you to Alex for this bit of archaeology. That's probably the most unique thing I've now got in my collection. A Smurf that's been buried in the ground for 40 years. A really quite unique little toy there. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, then make sure to hit the subscribe button and tap the bell to be notified each time I upload a new video. And if you've really enjoyed it, then head on over to my main channel, toy-polloi, and give me a subscribe there as well. And thanks for watching. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, hold it there, because as I said at the start of this video, I was waiting on another package to arrive, and it has just arrived. So this is something I've purchased off eBay, and it's going to be for a future project. So let's quickly take a look at this. It's nice and well wrapped up, and it's come in pretty good time, actually. Often with eBay stuff, you do have to wait a little bit. People are hit and miss with their posting, but this one's arrived pretty quickly. I'm hoping it's what I ordered. Sometimes I've ordered a few things and it may not be exactly what I'm expecting, but we'll see. I think this looks about the right size box, which is why I do think it is what I have ordered. So let's open it up. Ah, yes, it is. I can see it there. So let's get this out now. There we go. Do you know what it is? It's a masked Thunderhawk. So a lot of people have enjoyed the videos I've done restoring the masked Switchblade, Miles Mayhem's masked Switchblade, and I think a lot of people wanted me to continue with that theme. So this is the Thunderhawk. I bought this last week. It had been listed, I think it was a sort of, you know, make an offer sort of listing. So I offered £20 and they came back with a counter offer of 25, which I thought was pretty reasonable because it's mainly there. It's fairly dirty. There's stickers missing. There's quite a lot of sort of sticker residue on that, but it does have these little side bits that seem to be often missing. And actually, just looking at it, if I press the button to open everything up, it doesn't work particularly well, but that's not an issue. It does appear to have the seat belts though, so that's quite good. And it has all of the tyres. Again, this seems to be a fairly common issue. These tyres split and fall off. I can see this one's got a slight split on it. They are starting to go, but it's a good candidate for a restoration. So yeah, I grabbed this. It was £25 plus postage, and I do need to say thank you again to Luke from Reynolds Reviews, who's given me some guidance on prices for these. I'm not that sort of up on mask vehicle prices, so he said £25 was a pretty good price. And yeah, I'm going to have fun fixing it up. As I say, it's pretty played with. Things don't seem to lock in place properly, so there's definitely bits that need work on it. It's missing the bombs at the bottom, but I think you can buy reproductions of those. So it's going to be a fun project. That was what I was waiting for in the post. So this is now the proper end of this video. So as I say, if you've enjoyed this video, then make sure to hit the subscribe button, tap the bell to be notified each time I upload a new video. And if you really enjoyed it, head on over to my main channel, toy-polloi, and subscribe there. And thanks for watching.